welcome to Parent and Teacher Working Together. I'm so happy to have you here with me today, and today I have a very special couple, Funmi and Azeez Jimoh. They're parents of a lovely child, and they're going to share their journey. So they have an autistic child, and they're going to share their journey of the struggles and the joys they go through as parents. So let's sit down, gather your book, like I have mine now, and your pen or any other writing material, and remember to write down those aha moments. And please make sure you log on to the link at the bottom of this video and write down any comments or suggestions or anything you'd like to share, ideas. And I look forward to hearing from you. So sit tight, let's learn together. Welcome to Parents and Teachers. I'm really excited to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let you introduce yourselves because I've known you for quite a while, but I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. So do you want to just tell me your name and
Okay, my name is Funmi Jimoh, and my parent with a child with autism. High-functioning autism, actually. That's it.
Okay.
My name is Azeez Jimoh, and I'm also a parent. You know,
Both
this is my
parents.
wife. Yeah, both parents. This is my wife. You know, we're parent with a child, an autistic child.
Okay. All right. What exactly is it with regards to your child? What needs does he have?
High-functioning autism and Asperger. Asperger, I think you better explain that. You agree with that?
Actually, you know, if I go back to from the study where, you know, the kids first is struggling and all that, you know, we have no clue of what is going on with, you know, and then I remember you gave a recommendation to my wife for him to be checked up. Okay, so we, as a parent, you know, especially African parents, you know, a lot of sentiments and all that. You know, say, no, not my child. It's not happening. Forget about it and all that. So we didn't quickly take it on board. So at the end of the day, we agree after a while because you insisted, and I remember.
How much was the while? I remember. How old was he when we first detected that? When we felt
He was around
2
years, yeah.
And then when was that while? I know it took a long while.
Yeah.
It took at least 2 more years, was it?
No, a year.
A year after.
A year after.
Yeah. Because around the time when you told us to take him for a checkup, it was around 2 and it was not settling. No, it was around 3 years.
It was 3?
Yeah, it was 3 years. Because that time when you said there was something wrong with him and he was not settling in the nursery, we took him out of the nursery and decided to kind of teach him at home, you know, educate him at home. And after
he was very intelligent.
Yeah.
He was very intelligent.
Yeah, that's one of the things you have to really identify.
And that was why we didn't agree with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
So when I remember we took him out of the so because it's not settling, and I started teaching at home. You know, first of all the environment. You know, like the chair, the clock, the table. You know, once you can know what is in the house, then the same thing is what is in the office. Anywhere you go, so you can say, oh, the chair, the table, and all that. You know, clock and all that. So it actually improved when we brought him back.
But it's still, communication is still like...
yeah, but his communication is still backward.
Yeah.
You know? So he can't really communicate, you know, but he can only, you know...
Just say one or two words and point his finger.
Yeah, or drag your hand.
Or take your hand.
Yeah, drag your hand. Yeah. So he started the school, normal school, isn't he?
No, even before the normal school. We brought him back a year after, and it was okay in school because he can actually identify things, and even though he can say some things, I can point us, and you know. But then you said we should take him for a checkup, which I did, and then he was diagnosed. They said autism. I was like, no, he's not autistic. Yeah. I can't take that. You know. How do you actually fought with the doctor?
I remember the pediatrician came for the observation in the came for us, and she noticed one thing, that she doesn't interfere. I mean, he doesn't interfere with the play and the with other children, even though in as much as he wanted to participate in playing with them, but it's still the same thing. When the result came out of the observation and of the pediatrician, it was ASD. I was like, what is that? Autistic,
autism spectrum disorder.
spectrum
I was like,
disorder.
what is that? No,
I was
no,
like,
no,
okay,
no,
no.
taking that.
We, sincerely speaking, we are as ignorant as any other parent out there who will say, no, that's not for me, that's not my case,
that's
not my line. Oh my God,
my
Jesus.
child is quite intelligent.
Yeah.
Look, he
Yeah.
says some
Yeah,
words.
I specifically, as a man, I specifically told the consultant, that pediatrician, look, don't put this on my file, on my son's case. Fine, we don't want it, okay? I don't care where you're there. You might have your diagnosis, but in the mainstream school, after he had to go back to school.
No, how old was he when?
He was around 4,
going to 5.
going to 5. Yeah. So he was diagnosed when he was 3.
Okay.
So actually, we didn't take the diagnosis for a year.
Yeah.
So in school, they asked us to go and have him check up. They feel he
I
has
said, there's something wrong.
There's something wrong.
No, and they said, no, this is how it goes. The teacher was asking us, there's something wrong here. Has it been diagnosed? I was like, yeah. And she was like, so where is the diagnosis? I didn't take it because I didn't believe he's autistic. She said, you have to go back and take it and bring it back to school because we need it. Otherwise, he won't be able to be supported. I was like, okay, fine. And that was how the whole journey started.
I wanted to add something. One of the first things is that for parents to really identify the problem is the first major thing. It's difficult for you to identify, but as a parent, if you are observant, you will know there's something there. For example, he always do repetitive things. He always go towards the washing machine and start looking at the washing machine. Few repetitive things like a car, he'll be playing with the wheels.
Yeah,
and
specifically, we did not playing with the old car by itself.
Yeah, only one.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, with the wheels, and they start, just a repetitive thing. We knew something, but you just overlook it, and it's just growing up. We should give him time to grow up, and so because it's a condition, it's not a disease. That's what a lot of parents don't know.
Yeah,
so once you say,
learning disorder.
it's not a learning,
it's not a learning
it's a
disorder.
condition, and with condition, they tend to learn and they improve. They're only not in the same power with,
at the same stage.
with non-autistic, person. So what happened was that between the diagnosis, right, and when it was 3 and when it was 4, before we went back to go and take the actual diagnosis, he has manifested some few other things in terms of behavior, IQ, So the pediatrician had to do the observation again, and they have to change it from ASD to high-functioning ASD a year after. Yeah.
That's when it became high function.
That's when it became.
All right. Also, we can see it was a journey.
It was a journey.
It was a journey. Yeah. So when did you start? I guess that was the time you decided to seek professional.
Yeah, we have to
when
seek
you
professional.
decided to. And the benefits did outweigh.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because like I've said to you, we really don't have a clue what was going on, and we really want to help him at least to get better and progress in life. And so we started contacting and Barnet, all the resources they have. If we can lay hands on anything, even the school itself. So okay, what should I do? Does it really go? Okay, is there anything we can? So many questions there. But somehow, some things actually came true for us that we can actually use and learn from, and in terms of going for courses and seminars and just
the
awareness
that the school provided.
No, not the school.
No, not the school.
Just the school actually provide us with maybe some awareness of certain
awareness of certain
seminars or that we can go for. Then we now left for you as a parent if you want to go there to attend it.
You had to do the
research
ourselves.
Yeah.
So
what sites? Where did you go? Do you have any tips for
first
parents?
of all, because then it's different now. Then most of them we found most of them on the Barnet website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of them are
So
on
your
the
local council.
Council, yeah.
Okay.
And there are a lot of organization like a Green Play.
Yeah,
like
associated with
Yeah.
with the council as
with
well.
the council as well, where
So it's best for parents to just do their research
Yes,
and like go
exactly.
onto the local council website and,
Exactly.
and see what there is out there
Oh, there.
in terms of knowledge. Because knowledge really is power.
It
Yeah.
is power.
And with the
we
knowledge,
as ignorant as anybody out there. But when I
Understandably
speak
so.
now, some people goes like, "Oh God, you guys are speaking,"
You
like
know
like
everything. No,
Yeah.
it was a journey.
It was a real journey. What we did was that for you to be able to help your child, you have to really know how they think. So you have to do a lot of research how autistic people think, because their brain is wired differently.
yes.
You know. So that's why they call them. What's the term they use? I forgot.
Special.
No,
And
neurodiverse. They call them neurodiverse. So it's because their brain is wired differently. They are sensitive to, very sensitive, or some of their senses is hyper. Like they smell.
Can smell a lot of
A lot of
things.
Yeah, they can smell, like 3 times or 10 times even better than us. Their touches, they react to little touch, heat or cold. They, a lot of all the senses there is in heightened,
Even
and
the hearing as well. His own is has to do with more with the hearing. Well, it has
Hearing.
hearing more.
hearing also.
He hears more than what
We
we can actually
He,
hear.
he can hear like a footstep like 3 doors away.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Okay, I'll give you some.
That's important to know for any teacher as well, parents as
Exactly.
well as those in the
Yeah.
Sunday school.
We are
Exactly.
ignorant and
Exactly.
everything. Like we we change. He could not sleep because of a clock. We have a ticking
The
clock.
ticking. Yeah.
Yeah, in his room, he could not sleep because of that. So we
And he
changed the
kept
clock.
on telling us, I was like, oh, just kind of ignore it. I cannot
Yeah,
ignore
he
it.
said
And
at
I was
night,
okay, fine,
it's making so much noise that he can't, because the clock, it makes a lot of noise. A lot of people don't know. So I have to change all the clock in my house to digital. That's the first one. The fridge at night. There's a fridge, almost opposite, his bedroom, and he said the fridge also making noise. So
And you won't understand because
We
we
can't.
don't experience it. So
Exactly.
probably you'll
Exactly.
be thinking, noise? What noise?
Noise.
What
Even the
noise?
TV, the TV has a kind of a static sound. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
even the
tend to
TV.
pick on that sometimes, and you're
Sometimes.
thinking, what, just ignore, go to your room, put on the music, so whatever music that you want, so that you won't hear the noise anymore. And
we try to convert
And
this
that
room
was
to
the knowledge helped you to support your child.
Exactly.
to support. Yeah,
Exactly.
the knowledge important for parents to do a lot of research on their own on autism. How the brain works. What is the entire thing about autism. How you can help them. If you don't know them, you can't
you
help
can't
them.
help them.
Yeah.
You can't.
You can't help them.
Because sometimes I see when parents are struggling, when a child goes out and the child is always repeating the same thing, or they see something and automatically they want to take it and
Take
say
it,
it's
yeah.
mine, and you're thinking, and you see the parent, keep quiet, da, 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 da. But they don't really understand
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that is normal.
Normal.
So how do I now support a child like that?
Like that.
With that kind
Wow.
of a situation, you just have to come down to the level. Try to understand. Okay, he or she wants this in particular. Okay, look for. If you don't have it at that point in time, look for something else you can use to replace in terms of area of interest or something like that, so that his mind can naturally go off from it, and that's the best thing.
Preparing to go out as an autistic parent. Of a parent of an autistic child is different from a normal child, because one, you have to study the area of interest of the child. So once you know the area of interest, so you have to prepare something that, because they have one thing unique, is an asset, obsession. So that obsession is their greatest strength, because they can't easily be distracted. Okay, so they can't easily.
That is really something to know.
Yeah, they can't easily be
So
distracted.
if it could have been a car,
It could be a car.
It could have even been the
It could be
phone.
phone
It could be
or
a phone which
iPad.
we all the
Or-
time you see the parents taking away from the child.
Yes. So
Or
when
a
the
soft
child's
toy or
a
something.
soft toy or
Yeah.
a
also, yeah,
I love that word, the child's obsession.
yes.
Look for it.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself
Prepare yourself
before
for
you
it.
go out on
Before
that
you
journey.
go on that journey.
Yeah.
So you can distract
also-
them with their greatest
Exactly.
obsession, so that they will be,
Will become their greatest strength.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's their greatest strength. Yeah, one of the things about autistic child is that they have obsession, and that obsession is their greatest strength. Because in the world now, we can easily be distracted with things. Even if you want to read in school, you want to read. An autistic child can read in a place where everyone cannot read, because they are engrossed with what they do, and they don't care about the world. So they're in it, what exactly they're reading or what they're doing, or what they, even if it's a game, even if and with that you can't beat them. But this is one of the reasons that a lot of people, they always exceed in whatever they do in life. Yeah, because of the gifts they can ignore.
wow.
They can ignore
Oh, so
distraction.
Oh wow! So what advice would you give to a parent who is looking for the right school for their child?
That's another hard one.
Well, the advice I can give is for them to actually go to the school, check it in. I mean, if he or she is allowed to do that,
I think parents are. They are.
They are. They
look
need
into
to
them, discuss with the head of the SENCO, which is the Special Educational Needs and Department. Discuss with them, tell them your needs of your child, and I mean, ask a lot of questions about the resources, the environment, whatever thing they have available for the children there, and not see if it's actually suitable for your child or not.
Did you have to go through a journey where you either chose the wrong school or you chose the right
Yeah.
school? What
Yeah.
happened?
We did.
How was your journey with your
In,
child's
in
school?
terms of school, I mean,
Where he first.
we
you said
first
he
of all
was-
started with a mainstream school with no resources, nothing whatsoever. But what happened was that during those times, I mean, like I said, they were the one that actually identified was that there's something wrong here. We have to go back to the pediatrician to get all the reports and stuff like that. So what happened was that because it was noticed, they actually quickly put the necessary resource in place for him in terms of speech and language therapy. Therapy again, anyway.
Yeah,
I think it's mostly
only speech.
and
Yeah,
language
because
therapy.
it's speech.
Communication
Yeah,
needs,
communication.
yeah.
You have to
No, yeah. Even though he has the social skill is still not developed, but at least the speech and language therapy is there to actually help him through in terms of developing his speech
Yeah,
further.
he has
Yeah.
poor coordination, he can't manage space, clumsy and all that. Those are part of the things that comes with autism also.
Yeah.
Yes, I think they
so-
work with him and during those times too. Then
Yeah,
When
but
you
you
go,
have
yeah.
to see that the school, whether the resources they have, when you speak to the SENCO, they can really provide for your child. So it's quite hard also to pick schools in terms of mainstream schools and all that, because the facilities for autistic child is quite hard to. Some of them don't have what do you call this room?
occupational.
No, they don't have
the sensory rooms.
they don't have
The
sensory.
sensory.
Yeah.
The sensory
Just
room.
to calm them down.
Just to
yeah,
calm them
kind
down,
Of, having
yeah.
them melt down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, what school does your child go to now?
It's a private special school for children with high-functioning autism, and it's called the Homewood School.
So what made you take him away from a mainstream school now and go into a special school?
Because with the mainstream school, he was not settling at all with the mainstream kids. He was not settling at all. No matter how he tried, there's still this kind of differences
He
that
felt isolated.
and he cannot really actually interact more with them in terms of socially. Yeah. So, and we tried it with like 3 different schools. It's still not, even though with the school that's got resource
They
provision,
had a lot of
it's still-
resources, but
it's still not
it
working
was still in
yeah.
terms of
And when you add to that, so that people can have a perfect picture of what mainstream school is and where they can, and what resources they have and what they can expect. Okay, so most of the autistic child, they have hyperacusis, which my son has a very strong one. That means it's intolerant to sound. That's hyperacusis. He was diagnosed 2017 with that. So now mainstream school with resource provision, right, they try, because it will be in resource provision and it's and also in mainstream class. You will receive certain lecture in mainstream class and you will come to resource provision and all that. But the reason why it still doesn't work for him was that when he's in the mainstream class, the children, their behavior is so noisy and he
that
couldn't,
affected
and that affected
his
yeah,
learning.
he can't concentrate. So it's like, but the general idea is that, oh, once you need resource provision, ARP, or what they call, oh, the child is going to be fine, you can access the mainstream, because the resource provision was developed for them to be able to fully integrate it into the mainstream. But not all the autistic child they can do that. They need a smaller environment to be taught. They need people who are well trained, autistically trained, to be taught, so that they can teach them. So it's quite different. Like, we faced all those kind of challenges like that. So that's why it did not settle. 3 schools in 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 schools in 6 years. So we keep changing him. Oh, let's go for another one. Let's try whether it's going to.
And it didn't settle.
Yeah, and it didn't settle.
But now I believe he's quite happy.
He's happy now. Very happy. Always willing to go to school.
So I think that is it. Really, truly having an understanding of your child's needs. And then when you have an understanding of your child's needs, then you'll be able to see, can this school support my child? Because sometimes we tend to just use what we desire of our child. We think, oh, if he goes to a special school and not the mainstream, he's not going to be able to interact normally. But what is normal to us may not be normal to them.
Yeah, like what you say, I described, with one of the head of the school when we're discussing about resources, whether available for him or not. The general notion tend to be, oh, if you're autistic, you'll be good, you'll be okay. ARP, that's autistic resource provision,
which some churches call the sensory. Okay, yeah.
No.
For them, they have one. Sometimes what happens is that we tend to think, okay, if we provide a sensory room for the child, all children that have any kind of needs, we can just put them there and they'll be okay. But every child's need, as in any other child, is unique. So putting them in just one room and thinking they'll be okay, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. It's the description of the ARP to me, let me put it ironically, is like putting a library in a football stadium.
Wow.
So now, and you expect the children to function when there's so much exactly putting a library in this, it's not going to work. Library cannot work in a stadium because the stadium is built for entertainment and noise. So mainstream school, it might work for maybe few of them.
Yes, it could.
Maybe few of them, but majority of the children with autism, they have hyperacusis. Well, it depends on the degree of or the level of hyperacusis they have. They can't manage noise, so therefore, maintaining a mainstream school is very, very difficult for them. It's very difficult. They won't settle. Most of them don't settle. They need a smaller environment and where they can receive education.
In terms of education, again, what tips do you have for anyone that is planning to take on an educational healthcare plan?
Do your research.
Do your research again.
Research very well, and in terms of, because you have to get all the necessary consultants involved, because you need those things anyway. But in most cases anyway, healthcare planning is usually done through school.
It's done through
We did it ourselves because the school was not helping.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes it difficult.
So it was really difficult.
It was a journey, but it's a learning journey.
It was a learning journey, yeah.
Did it yourself, as in how? Share with us, what did you have to do?
In terms of going back to the consult, although we had the help of Sendias.
There's a department under Banning, it's called Sendias, and they will give you someone like a caseworker that will really work with
between you and the health professionals or the schools or the present or the previous school that your child is before. There will be like a mediation between both of you.
Help to try and really get to understand your child's needs and then relate this
specifically to
the people
each of the
that will be needed to
exactly.
be a part of that health
Yeah,
plan.
That's what she did, yeah.
what the SERVE does is that
So
because educational healthcare plan, parents has to know this is about the law. It's not mostly about the child.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about also the budget available under the institution that is going to provide for them, which is Barnet Council,
Which
under
was your
or
council.
any council, which is
Just
our
like the
council.
council,
You know. So if you, despite the fact that many autistic child, they need that, that support, but they're still limited by the budget of the council
They need
or
the
the
healthcare
borough.
plan.
And also the how the cases is being put forward on one-on-one. Yeah, it's really important. So you need to get the consultant involved, all the necessary documentation, or you need educational psychologists, to really assess your child. Some people, they can't wait for the government one; they have to go and pay for the private one. And they're very expensive. Educational psychologists.
Did you have to have an educational psychologist?
We do, but we got everything directly through NHS.
Through NHS.
Yeah.
So those were the people that went and looked specifically at your child's needs in order to make sure that the healthcare plan reflected.
Exactly, yeah.
There's so many organizations sometimes involved depending on the of what affect the child's health. Camps might be involved. Pediatric will definitely be involved. Educational psychologists will be involved. Speech and language therapy may be involved. Occupational therapists may be involved, depending
on your child's need.
Depending on your child's needs. So you need to get all the professional certification, of the condition. Let me put it that way, of the condition that is really affecting that, autistic, child. So after collating that, then you have to, liaise through Sendias or any other, or if some people use lawyer. They use lawyer, especially
private lawyers.
Private, to really get it from the government. You have to put a case in. It's not like
and
they're going to give
that you actually, or your son, your child actually needs
it. Yeah, because those are the things they're going to use.
So you have to really be involved in your child's healthcare plan.
You have to be.
Leave it.
You can't leave it.
You can't leave
because you're the only one that knows about your child. I mean, leaving it will just make things worse for you as a parent.
And the parents has to know that every little detail about the child is really important. Every little details about the behavior.
No matter how small or minute the details might be. Yeah.
It will go a long way. Maybe the child is maybe
what can I even think of?
or cannot need toilet.
Manage yourself in the toilet.
Manage yourself in the toilet, or he's having sleepless night most of the time. He can't sleep.
Things that you can't even clench.
He clenches his teeth all the time.
And he scratches his throat. Some little details like that.
No, sometimes autistic children are known for being what is called stimming. Stimming is the act of a repetitive repetitive act, like maybe scratching or doing that, or some of them they use stimming to calm themselves down. Some of them will be doing their legs like this, some of them will be depending, fidgeting with something.
And it's good for a teacher to know, especially even in Sunday school. If you see a child and they're always fidgeting, you probably want to just take it away, but you forget that that's their obsession for their strength.
Which you just said.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that they're just trying to calm themselves
down. And they use it to calm themselves down. So all those things, you have to add it in the report. You have to tell as a parent, because you're living in it. So most parents have the knowledge of what is really going on with their child, but the only thing, they don't know whether it's relevant for the educational healthcare plan. That's
or even as like going on the computer just to research on things, because my child does that to calm himself down. Just want to go on, just going on to typing, just writing stories. Just writing just creative something or ideas or something. he uses that to calm himself down. He will just tell you, I need to get to the computer just to write, just to do something or whatever, just to forget about, you know. He does that, you know.
I'm glad your child can communicate that too.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
That's
I'm
really
just
good.
glad, yeah.
It came
Because
along.
that really helps if your child can actually communicate with you, a child with a special needs.
So I can see, as with any other parent, you've had the joys and you've gone through the struggles
Yes.
with your child. Yeah. Is there any other specific one you want to share with us?
It's quite tough because we've met so many parents. We've been to so many seminars. We've seen parents that their children are non-verbal. Even though we are blessed, like our child came from non-verbal to verbal, because it took years. We've been to many speech and language therapy under Body Council everywhere, group, individual, even on holiday. We did it for years. You don't give up on your child.
Don't give up.
You don't give up on your child. So it's difficult. I can understand that, because some parents are still going through a lot when it comes to their child, and they're not seeing the improvement as as required, and it's painful.
Yeah.
Those are part of the things I really want to discuss. You have to dedicate your life for your child. You will be tested as a parent. You will really be tested. How far you can go, or how far you can cope with things. It's
And there were a lot of sacrifices you had to make.
Oh, yeah.
a lot of sacrifice.
A lot of
A lot of sacrifice.
I wanted to go back to do my master's, but I couldn't, because I can't just neglect him and just move on my own thing, no matter how hard I want to do it. Even I was nearly started last year, but that was when the admission came through. No, the case came through, and we got the final verdict at the court that actually been granted to get into the school, and I had to cancel everything, just because of him.
But I like the joy of, actually, I can see the joy in your face where you had your child non-verbal. Wow. To be verbal.
And
Wow.
in more volume.
Yeah, I used to say, this is what I want to point out. This thing also.
Can I just stop one thing? I
Okay.
remember my last interview I had with a lady called Kay. She says that the words are all there. They're all there because they're very intelligent and they can hear and they perceive things, but it's to communicate it out.
That's what I want to say.
That is
Exactly.
the block, because it's there, and it takes a long time, so you have to actually be there
Yeah.
to teach your child.
Even now,
You
as at now,
see-
sorry to cut you off. Even as at now, as he can communicate, feeling, sometimes when he's trying to explain or express a situation or whatever, it's difficult for him to kind of put it through. So what I try to do with him is like kind of creating like a social story or whatever. Just for him
Replay.
to bring it out.
Role play. Sorry.
Exactly. And with that, we actually get his message of whatever he's trying to say, and and everything becomes okay and fine. But it can be quite hard,
Yeah.
especially when you're not able to listen to whatever he's trying to say. But as a parent, like, so you have to kind of constantly remind yourself that, oh, no, that's not what he's feeling. Okay, let me just go back. Let me give him some time to explain himself and just express whatever thing he's trying to express.
Like in addition to what you're saying now, he like I said, he came from non-verbal to verbal. Some child will not speak for 3 years. Autistic child. Some of them, they start speaking, they will stop speaking, and they will not speak for another 2 years or 3 years. During that time, it is a kind of a hibernation. They can hear you loud and clear, but they don't know. They can't decode how to put the words together for the speech to come out, but they can hear you. So now, with time, with much speech and language therapy help and all that, with the experts and all that, the speech will be coming out gradually for some of them, not all. If you're fortunate, if you're blessed, and when the speech started, like on my my own son now, when the speech started coming out, it started coming out in volume. When I say in volume, he speaks so much vocabulary we don't even know where he heard it from.
I'm telling you.
Because he was always there.
Because he was always there. He's been listening to the news. He's been hearing the TV. He's been watching the YouTube and all that. You know, he's been watching cartoons. All those things. He's hearing all those words. We are like, you just start speaking. But the grammar was so much. Even in his report that, you know, he's diagnosed, you know, when we went for reassessment, the consultant goes like, oh my God, why you... They found out also he speaks with American accent. Yeah, it wasn't his diagnosis.
And he has never been there.
And he has never been... Yeah, he speaks with American accent. And even that, with so much grammar. And we don't even know where the grammar is coming from, you know. And but he's been listening for the last 3 years that he didn't speak. He's been hearing everyone, including TV, including radio, everything. He's been hearing it. So.
Oh wow. That goes to show the importance of really exposing your child to a lot. So, how did you do in terms of recreation then and social activities? Because it's important. From what you're saying, it's so important to expose your child to some, even though they're not reacting to the environment you're placing them in. Like probably when he was at home, even though he wasn't near the TV, or even if he read a book, he wouldn't react as you would think he should react. So if you were reading a story to him, it probably wasn't like, that's the son.
There was
so there was no like, and you probably think he's not getting this book, but you kept on reading the story. Kept on reading the story, even though there was no reaction, because the words were there.
With that, if he likes it, he will tell you. If he doesn't, then we don't really bother pushing it. And in terms of social, we tend to be very careful with that, because like we don't want him to kind of withdraw back, or we don't really want to help him through. So there are specific areas where we take him for when it comes to interaction, and most especially area of interest.
Yeah, we always concentrate on it.
Like going for Lego therapies, going for bowling, because he loves it. I mean, like I said, the area of interest. Going for golf.
He plays golf.
Yeah,
I remember that. He plays golf very,
very,
very well now. Very, very well now.
So
he
if he's not part of what he likes or something, we in some occasions we still tend to take him there, and if we can see his reaction is not really going that way, he's not really enjoying it, we just let's withdraw and that's it.
But he can't go everywhere, because sometimes we have difficulties, like because of his hyperacusis, like shopping centers. This is another major thing the parents need to know. Shopping centers, some places they play so much loud music, so we avoid anywhere there's sound music, you know. So we have to leave the place quickly. We have to go to another shop, so that to avoid it, because once it's moving into the sound wave that from the speaker, it can't stand speaker. Loud.
Or in a situation whereby we cannot avoid it, we tend to use this ear defender for him.
We tend to use
to protect himself from the noise.
How did you start? What was it that made you think there's something wrong with his hearing?
He's always, when he was a baby, he's always crying. Although we couldn't figure it out then, but he's always like crying and his hand going to his ears. So we do, maybe he doesn't like the noise. He doesn't like, that was what we thought. But as time goes on, when he started complaining about specific noise just disturbing her, we cannot figure it out. Figure out the noise. Then we know, there's something wrong here. So we actually spoke to the consultant about it, and they sent him on certain tests and just to find out what was going on, and that was how they came about the diagnosis for him.
We knew when he was a baby that he can't stand noise, but we don't know which is he's been diagnosed. His diagnosis is called hyperacusis, but we didn't know the name. But as a parent, we know he can't stand noise. We've been managing it for him by avoidance.
Yeah, but you didn't even know that would affect his learning. You just thought, he can't stand noise.
Yeah.
You didn't know how degree of what he...
That is why my advice for parents is that they should be observant, because it's a condition and it changes sometimes with time. It's not that the entire changes, they might manifest some. Like my son, as he's growing older, you'll be seeing some patterns in terms of behavioral change, sensory changes in terms of more.
So it's not the same.
It's not the same. It changes as they grow older. It gets better. Some gets better, some doesn't. Some developed,
Some
Yeah,
develop
so-
more. As he's growing older, his sensory become more heightened that he can't stand, like,
any strange noise that just comes from
any,
anywhere.
yeah, even a car horn like that.
He's going to jump.
He's going to jump
And start panicking.
and start panicking. Yeah, then we're seeing all that as he's growing up more. So he's tending now, because he himself knows his condition. He's going to be, that. So he is learning how to manage it, not to jump.
That's important. You're teaching your child basically how to manage.
Yes.
He's how old now? I mean, your child is
He's going to be 13.
13.
13
year.
years. Yeah. So you're teaching him as to what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is time you have to start teaching, because he's becoming a teenager,
Yeah.
You have to start teaching
So
everything.
in case of about independence, so that he can manage with himself and all that.
So you've started to teach him how to be independent. I think that's
Yeah,
important.
gradually.
Yeah, that's-
Because sometimes our fears tend to rub off on our children.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're so scared.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Scared as a
can't let
parent.
my child
Out
out of
there.
the door,
There was a time that he wanted to go and play with his friends, and just around the neighborhood, and I have to kind of be on the phone constantly with him. Who are you? I know, just let me see you at the car park. It's so scary, because I've never done that. That's the first time, and he really wants to go out there. And his friend too wanted to. They just want to have fun, like no other kids does. But I have to constantly be on the phone and just watching him. Then I realized, oh my God, this is really stressful. How am I going to do it? But he needs to be independent. He needs to go out there, But it's a gradual step. You will know when they're ready, and if they're not, you don't push it, like I said. But he's getting there.
So have you supported your child in terms of his career path? Because we all as parents, and we want the best for our child, and sometimes some needs can be difficult in terms of, my child has these needs, is this going to affect him along the way in terms of his career? So how have you what are you
by
doing?
looking specifically in the area of interest and helping them through in this kind of area, and see how they can get into something in the future as a career, and living with it.
Yeah, he has one of the things that they did in school for him was that most
The
of
school
the
he's currently in.
the school is currently
Special.
in,
the special, yeah.
they emphasize on most of them the area of interest.
Okay.
My son knows much about aircraft, buses, trains. He knows almost all the aircraft planes, the year they're being invented, or what. A lot of things about aircraft that I won't be even bothered. I don't even
to
bother
find out,
to
because
find
you're not
out.
interested.
And he also knows a lot about, like I said, trains and all these buses on the ground and all that. So I remember this same school he is now, and when we went there to do the interview, and they're trying to assess him, they found out that he had a similar interest with another child who knows all the underground, by heart. If you ask the child, where are you going to, I want to go to Modin, or I want to go somewhere, he will tell you the bus, the train, and everything he's going
You need to take,
you can say. Yeah, my son is similar to that.
including the numbers of stairs or whatever that you're going to encounter.
The number of
I'm
stairs.
telling you,
Yeah.
I'm going to encounter.
Wow.
Yeah, he will tell you the bus and the train. So they kind of, will I call it mistake or somehow? The gift is so, you need to support the gift first. You need to accept and support the gift, and try to find out the area of interest. For example, because he plays golf, I've been, every summer I play competition. I always put him in competition, whether I like it or not. That's what. He writes also. I put him in the writing competition. Even though he doesn't win, just try.
Just give
Yeah.
him, give him that
Yeah,
confidence.
just give him that
And
confidence.
Exposure.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and
that
he's so happy
exposure.
to actually be in a competition, even though he's succeeding in it, or not, just
Yeah.
and he's like I said, it's his area of interest. He wants to do it,
Yeah, the school he is now, the home, they always encourage them in each individual, interest. Another thing is that they have a bespoke curriculum
For the child's
for the
The
child's
child's
needs.
needs, yeah.
So they are
Which one?
curriculum writers in school.
Exactly.
Oh.
So each child work is
It's
different.
different from each other.
Even though they might be in the same class,
friends or in the same class, their work is different.
their work is different.
Yeah.
So they use their interest.
To then capture their attention.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they use most of their interest also to explain things to them.
Yes.
Yes.
So if I wanted to explain to a child in terms of, just even say maths, I'll be talking about the aeroplanes or
Or
for your
buses.
child, or the buses, or,
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
or the thing, and then that would capture their
That will
attention.
capture their
Attention.
attention.
And then,
Yeah.
then want them to. Oh wow. So, but then, what advice then would you give for Sunday school teachers then? How would you say? How could we, as a Sunday school teacher, support your child, just based on what you've shared already? What has been your experience? Has it been supportive?
In terms of Sunday school, I had to kind of take him out because he said he doesn't want to go, and because but that was a long time ago. Actually.
Yeah, he used to be there.
He used to be there. That he doesn't want to stay because I guess because they don't. You know what? Because I'm not there. So, but from what I can perceive, I think they find it boring. Because obviously his area of interest is not really around him, you know. So you just have to. He was forced to comply with whatever thing that is going on there.
But I think more training. That's just it.
Yeah,
more training,
more training.
for
Yeah.
for people who are handling it.
Yeah.
That's just it. Because once you identify someone is autistic, then you know, okay, you can give a special attention or a area of concentration of the child for the child to be able to
And
settle
also,
down.
they must have an interest in them. Any teacher, or this one is Sunday school teacher that's going to take charge of the autism kids, you must have an interest in autism. Otherwise,
Yes.
you won't have a clue of how to deal with them.
Yeah, they might be
or understand
steaming
what is
to
going
calm
on with them,
themselves
yeah.
down, and the other kids might be laughing at them,
And you
You
won't,
will-
yeah, you
you
won't,
will-
and you won't
and
know
they
how
won't-
to handle the whole situation.
and they
Yeah.
might not like it. And they perceive a lot. They perceive a lot.
That's important. Thank you. So, what will you say to parents then trusting God for their child's healing? Because I can see that it's a journey, and it's still a journey.
It's a journey, and it's still a
But
journey.
you've had to accept a lot of things and seek help at the same time.
Time.
Still believing God that He's doing a miracle, because He is right
Yes,
now.
exactly.
The miracle is so obvious. I mean,
Yeah.
if I look at your child and I'm like, wow, God is so good. But you sought help.
It's still
Yeah.
amazing
You
to me.
went out, you got the help,
Help,
and
yeah.
you trusted God.
Yes,
To
exactly.
help us through.
To help us through. So many cries.
Because, yeah.
So many. She would she won't sleep. She would be crying over and over. But the speech and language does really help. The persistence help. The perseverance help. And the parents knowing that you can put your own career on hold and you have to, I had to resign my job because she can't cope alone, and be able to put this sacrifice, and start looking for what I can do for myself, as an entrepreneurship kind of, that was really driving me into entrepreneurship because I need to take care of my family, my wife and my kids, and so many appointments. So how can you meet it, and but the most important thing is the best interest of the child to the parent. That's the most important thing. The best interest of the child. It's quite hard. We've been to court. Some people, they think we're not ordinary parents, we're the ones that because of our child, we challenge the institutions. We challenge the government. We take them to, we fight, we win, on the basis of the law. So we see parents, we've been trying to help some other parents also who are trying to do educational healthcare plan, or some of them were fighting for schools. This is not school that
putting
fits
them
for
right school,
for them. To the government, it's about the law. It's not about the child's needs. So it's quite difficult because you will see it's more like an irony. Somebody is on a wheelchair, right? And you can see what we call someone is on a wheelchair. You say it's disabled, but they would disapprove disability living allowance. They would disapprove it because they will say it's mentally okay. He can get a job, and yeah. So the law aspect is different. There's a You only
So
have
you have to present a case.
you have to
Yeah.
present a
Which
case.
is like for any court, really.
Yeah,
You would
like-
have, like
yeah,
any court,
absolutely.
you would have to present
Yeah,
your
that
case
was what
because
is
they.
killing a lot of parents. A lot of parents.
Because presenting your case, and if it's not well solid,
They'll throw it out.
so you have to kind of, that's why we were saying earlier, gather all your evidence, no matter how minute the evidence is, still gather everything,
And you
everything,
don't give up. You don't give up.
and present
We
it.
had our case being thrown out. Even the educational care plan, because we did it ourselves. We didn't go through the school because the school are not helping.
And
We-
again, it was homeschool then. You
Yeah.
had to pull him out for about a year during the primary school days, yeah.
Yeah, so
And
it's a
times.
long journey in 7 years, isn't it? 6 years.
6 years,
He changes school, two mainstream school, one autistic, one autistic
resource, yeah.
resource provision, and also homeschool. You know, so it is that perseverance and and during that time they still refuse.
Yeah.
They refuse. Like, no, we're not going to give you this. That we have to go back. You know, I think information, getting knowledge, seeking for knowledge, you know, speaking to other parents, you know, all that, it goes a long way, because sometimes here it's quite difficult for you to know, because they get stuck. Many parents get stuck. They don't know where to get the information from, what they can do next. Once they have the case being thrown out, you know, back to them, they refuse them, you know, the other ways. You know, I would advise other parents. Some parents don't even know that they can reassess their child, because the condition changes along the way. Because
Wow.
it's very, very important. You know, you can go for reassessment. How long your child has been diagnosed? 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Okay, go to your GP. Tell your GP, oh, this child is now behaving this way. I can see some certain condition being manifesting, or certain behavior manifesting in my child, or this. Then you need to tell the GP to make a referral, and then you go back to maybe pediatrician or speech and language, or, you know, depending on the expert that is actually, you know, involved. And they can add, you know, they will add the condition, or kind of the problem that is coming up now. They will add to the condition, and once you do that, you can now go for reassessment for the educational care plan, so that can be, you know, put or added to the. That can make a difference in terms of the support. The support. The support you can get.
Unique
Yeah.
to that
To
child.
To that
Yeah.
child. I've had many parents, you know, when we go for all the seminars, and they saying the support is not enough, and I will ask them, okay, when is being diagnosed? They'll tell me 6 years ago or 5 years ago. I was okay, but when is it been doing this? Then go for reassessment. Ask and seek for reassessment, so that the new problem can be added to the report, the educational care plan. Then that's the way you can get, you know, support. Yeah, it's really important.
Because the more evidence you can prove on your report, the medical report, the more support and assessment you can get.
Yeah, the more help.
I mean, more help that you can get. Yeah.
Yeah, our own too. One more important thing I wanted to say, you know, our own child is a high-functioning autistic child. That means he's brilliant. So now he's brilliant in school. His report is good. So how do you present the case to the government that my child needs support in school when his academic is okay? His academic is brilliant. So what we did with it, because it's invisible disability, you know, we have to look within the law that being okay physically doesn't mean you are not, you know, you don't have challenges. You are not, you know. So it's quite difficult to find out within the law that if once even somebody is able and you're brilliant, you have all these things, that somebody will say, oh, get out of here. There's nothing wrong with you, because it's invisible. His speech is delayed.
Which is the funny thing, actually, because many children, they say, are autistic, but it's so invisible. It's hard to see.
It's hard to see.
It's hard to see. Yeah. And if it's there, it's so, because we probably don't understand what's going on. It's hard for you to even find help for yourself, or the parent to find help. Really.
Yeah.
That's why we said every little details of information that or character or act you can see in your child, just note. You can even start noting it down on paper, because you're going to be asked by the consultant, just give me a scenario of what is happening or whatever, and you can bring that, because when you get to the consultant, you might tend to forget one or two things or whatever that is very minute, but is important for them to know. So you can just note it down at home. Just keep a record of everything at home, and when you get there, tell them everything, or you present everything to them. Or this is what is going on. This is what I could get.
We have many parents told us that, oh, there's nothing wrong with your child. I can see him is playing.
Yeah,
It's okay. I just spoke to him now. It's okay. But the same child cannot read facial expression. It doesn't know what scorn is, what scornful looking is.
Yes.
It doesn't know what grudging looking like.
Yeah.
Whether it's difficult to read facial expression. It doesn't. My son, 10 years in his life, he probably say, I'm hungry 2 times. He can't process hunger. He doesn't know what hunger
how
is.
it feels.
How it feels. So we always time him from the baby, or even up to now.
Sometimes now.
No, sometimes now. He's getting to get hold of maybe feeling with the hunger.
Maybe in a little while.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Wow, I'm amazed. I'm really amazed. So it's the importance of really knowing your life, because you think, how can someone not know they're hungry?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Yeah, she is very good with that. She always time. Oh, you are hungry now. Don't forget. Sometimes.
And then you go back. How do you know that? I'm your mom. I know.
Yeah. So someone would, we say, oh, your child, there's nothing wrong with it, but you don't know, he can't process hunger. She didn't know that he can't even read facial expression. Yeah, he doesn't understand scornfully look. He doesn't understand, like, get out of here. He will just tell you, why are you looking at me like that?
Yeah.
And they're so sensitive. They take it personally.
Yes.
Because they take everything.
Every little detail is so personal, and that's what I'm dealing with.
And
now.
everything is black and white today. Yeah, you used to say they have one common synonymous kind of a thing with autistic people. When they tell you something that you are bad, trust me, check yourself. Check yourself, trust me.
Because they're just so open.
Yeah. And they will kind of explain and describe it.
Yeah.
They can just like, okay, you know what? I'll have a look.
They can see people's character, idiots one. Trust me. If they tell you about, try to check yourself.
Oh wow. Thank you so much for coming. I've really enjoyed my time, and I really wish we could go on and on and on. Thank you, Funmi and Azeez, for sharing your journey with us. I think it's really, your experiences are something which I say, let's learn together. It's been really good time.
It's really good time,
Thank you.
And I thank God, for us, for you giving us this opportunity. You made us understand the journey in the first place. Like, look, when it was a kid first, you have to there's something wrong. It's the experience. I'm talking about, sometimes when I speak, people go like, oh, you know so much about autistic. I was like, you need to see me some years ago. I know nothing about autism. I was ignorant. I'm the one that would go and deny and tell you, look, forget about it. What do you mean by that? There's nothing wrong with this boy. I will tell you. But look in between the lines. You will know your child better. Look, observe. You have to really accept there's something wrong. He has a condition. Forget people say, oh no, they're just giving them names. Oh, some people, whether for religious reason or for cultural reason or for whatever, or sentiment reasons, so many reasons. A lot of people were denying, the fact that condition your child has a condition or not. But you will know your child. Trust me, you will know your child.
I'm not saying that there's nothing God cannot do or whatever, but at least, as a parent, you always have to pray for your child to be progressive in whatever they do. But if there's something going on, you must look into it as a parent. You have to. You can't just kind of ignore the fact that and start putting religion or whatever in front of everything, before the child.
And we've seen parents who divorced, who separated because of they can't come together and have a consensus. The husband will say, oh, you're just spoiling the child. You need to give him the slap, or then it will be okay. It's not going to work that way.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work that way.
Thank you. Wow. Wasn't that interesting? I'm sure, like me, you had a lot of moments that you had to write down. I think I wrote down a lot, and just going back things such as where he shared the importance of knowing and understanding your child's needs is so important, because it's only then that you can effectively support your child. I mean, for instance, just the mere thing such as applying for an educational healthcare plan. By knowing what your child needs, identifying it, you're able to communicate it effectively such that whatever plan they work out will be unique to your child. And things such as having an understanding of your child's gifts and interests. I think we've spoken a lot about that. I'm reminded of a Bible verse where it says, train up your child in the way that they should go, and also that the fact that gifts make room for you. So if you know what your child's gift is, or what their interest is, then you can support it, and then be able to know that their career path, you are enhancing it and building them up towards a brighter future. I think one thing which the dad said, he says children's brains are wired differently. That means, yeah, children are unique. Every child is unique. And as such, if you know what your child needs, and if you understand your child's needs, the way they act, the way they respond, for things such as going shopping in the food mall, for every child, not every child can do that. For instance, if the child is sensitive to noise, then it's going to be very hard for you to take that child to the shopping mall and where they're surrounded by noise. Or the dad gave a very good example after the video, because we had another chat, and he shared the experience of importance of having that relationship between school and home. Know what your child is doing, especially for an autistic child. Because they know that their child loves research. They said their child loves to go on the computer. It's one of his coping mechanisms. And as such, when the school went into sex education, automatically the child went home, started going on the computer and researching and researching. He researched so much, he accumulated facts that he did not understand, and that did really not help the child. So they had to go back to the school and then tell the school that my child really doesn't know when we do things, that topics that he can't relate to, then please can my child be opted out for it. So have that relationship with the school. Know what the school is teaching your child, especially when it comes to your child's needs, so that they can effectively support your child in every area of learning. So let's go back. Yeah, I will go back and watch this video again, and let's learn together. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Manthano CMT, Manthano CMT, and subscribe so that you can have more information. There's a link at the bottom of this video where you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we have lots of resources there too for you to look at. Remember, we're here to serve, we're here to support you, equip you, value you, resource you, and empower you as we go along this journey. And so, till we meet again, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.